Good morning and welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY and AM 1460, and also online worldwide at WRUL.com. The Saturday Morning Sports Show is brought to you by Cherry Street Automotive, Citizens National Bank, ATJ Winter CPA, Hale Body Shop, Roark Transport, Farrell Hospital, Little Giant Grocery Outlet, Wabash Christian Therapy, Bush & Associates CPAs, Taylor Eye Care, People's National Bank, Hamilton Memorial Hospital, Rush Appliance, Wabash General Hospital, Carmi Lumber Company, Country Financial and Kyle Hosick, Pro Rehab Carmi, Rice Motor Company, Southern Illinois Trading and Supply, Expressway Ford, Jordan Funeral Group, First Mid Bank and Trust, Huck's Market, Invenergy, Jansen Auto Group, First Bank, and the Carmi Kiwanis Club. Cole Carter alongside Travis Black, Haley Winkleman across the hallway getting us on the air here in our first show of 2024. Travis, Happy New Year. It's been a couple days since I've seen you.
Yeah, it's been, what, New Year's Eve?
Well, we went to Evansville on Wednesday for the boys game. You forget that.
We did have the day school game.
We got some valuable time together.
Yeah.
But it's been a very hectic couple of weeks, busy couple of weeks for us, and including last week at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament. We'll get to that as we go throughout the show. But I want to start off today's show talking about the CWC boys basketball team. They picked up a big win back on Wednesday at Evansville Day. And Travis, their first game in about a week. They're going to have another week off before they play again. Only one game for them this week, but. You go back to your playing days. I think it's always interesting and always almost difficult when you have these long road trips on a Wednesday, first day back from school. You're not really in your rhythm yet, but the boys came out and played pretty darn well against a scrappy Evansville Day school team.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination of first day back of school and then, you got an hour drive. A team that's non-conference, not really that much exciting. You're getting up for this really matters a whole lot. I mean, it matters towards your record, obviously, but and maybe a little get over during the CIT because day school is a CIT team. But it's not really something you're like, all right, let's go. This is a big game. But it is. They did play well. They came out. Early on, they were a little flat just on offense, but defensively they did a good job. And day school hit some tough shots in that first quarter, and they can shoot that basketball. And then Carmi started getting the ball inside, and then it started to open up the outside game, and then the game was kind of over by that point. So they did a good job at using their defense, keeping them in the game, and then until their offense got going.
Biggest thing for me in that ball game was how Carmi adjusted throughout the contest. Evansville Day, if you haven't watched them play, they run the weirdest defense I ever seen. It's a combination of a man and a zone. They'll switch in and out of it throughout the night. And we go back to last year, the two times Carmi played them, they had some issues early in those ball games. Eventually went in the second half, made those adjustments, and was able to score the basketball. But you made a good point, and Coach Wolf said it in the postgame as well. Scoring inside in those games, getting the ball to the post, Driscoll doing his work down low, Mitchell doing his work down low, and Gavin hitting some shots outside. That's big for those guys to kind of create their own shots against whatever defense they see. That's what this team's going to have to do come February.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out a way to create their own shots, getting inside and then out. And it doesn't have to be one person getting the ball inside and dominating. Like last year they had Rice who could just get inside, dominate, and then it kicks out to those open shooters. This year, Mitchell's strong enough to get in there, post up. Gavin is, Landon is, and it's kind of been a team effort. And then they're getting the ball and posting up, and then you have Cade and Trey scoring around the basket, getting those little dump-off passes when they get driving, and then they'll open up that outside shot, which Carmi can really shoot that ball on the perimeter, but if they don't establish that inside presence first and then get the ball moving on the perimeter, that's when you see those games where they're just passing it around the volleyball line and then launching very long threes. And if they're making them, then that's really good. But if they're cold to start the game, that's when their offense really stalls.
Here is what Kevin Wolf had to say Wednesday night after Carmi took down Evansville Day School 60-43.
Cole Carter being joined by head coach Kevin Wolf. And, Coach, didn't really know what to expect. You guys have about 6 days off, first day back from Christmas break, but the boys came out, thought played pretty well after the first quarter.
Yeah, we did. It's always the first game after the EHT is always a little tough. You come from whenever you play well at the EHT, those huge atmospheres that you get in. And then the next game, here we are, non-conference game, Evansville Day School, not a team we're real familiar with, not a big conference game or whatever. So sometimes it takes us a little bit to get going, kind of like tonight. But hey, credit to them that they've got two kids that can put the ball in the hole, and they run everything through them, which makes it tough. And their kids made some tough shots tonight. First time we've seen a zone like that too all year. We haven't seen much zone. Teams usually don't play us a lot of zone with the way we have three guys that can really shoot it. But they kind of gave us some problems. But once we got the ball where we needed to get to on time, we had some guys making some plays, and we're able to come out of here with the victory.
Talk about them. I'm sure it was nice not having a game plan for Tyler Myers for the first time in 20 years, it feels like. But you mentioned they have a couple of kids. The Wilsey kid can score, and I didn't think you guys did a bad job on them. They just hit some shots.
Yeah, we only gave up 43 points, but 21 of those I think were 16 was in the first quarter. Yeah. They just felt like they made everything, but I knew the guys would respond and continue to guard. They really did make some tough shots. That's a jump shooting team. I don't know how many buckets they had at the rim. Everything they made was a jump shot, and they were able to connect on some. But I think once we got going, our defense led to offense a little bit tonight. We got out in transition some more than we had. Just a good game. Now we got another time off here before we play at Edwards County on Tuesday. So another little unique little stretch we have here, but that's okay. Guys will be ready Tuesday.
You mentioned the defense. You could tell earlier they wanted to get up and down, fast-paced, but I thought after the first quarter, you guys slowed them down and didn't let them get those quick shots off. That made a big difference.
Well, we guarded and rebounded better, and they missed some shots. And then we, on offense, we made some shots, which helped them from getting out and running. So we got the ball where we needed to. We got the ball around the bucket some. Landon and Mitchell really got the ball inside the paint. They were strong off 2 feet, which we talk about a lot. Gavin was big early, too. He kind of kept us going, hitting some big threes. That was what he's starting to get some steals now. We talked to Gavin a lot about he's so athletic. We need more steals out of him. We don't want him gambling, but he's quick enough and has good hand-eye coordination to get some tips and some runouts that he did. So just proud of the guys all the way around. I thought Trey and Cade inside rebounded well, did what we asked of them. So just a good win on the road. Like I said, not a conference game, unique scenario here, so it was good.
So me and Travis, talking on the way here, I talked to you earlier today. I thought after the Norris City game last week, start with the AJ game, then Heron, then Harrisburg. I think this team's kind of made a turn in the right direction.
So
what do you think's been the difference in the last 7 days?
Well, I think they're just getting comfortable in their roles, and guys are sharing the basketball, and it's just whenever a guy gets going, they're looking for him, and nobody's really taking too many terrible shots right now. Like I said, just getting the ball where we need to get to, and our defense has gotten better. We're starting to play more complementary defense, helping the guys that need help, because it's hard for Landon and Mitchell a little bit tonight and Gavin to guard these guys. So other guys have to be there and help position, and we're just getting better at that. And I think our confidence is growing a little bit too. I think early on in the year, coming off the year last year, I think sometimes kids think we're just going to do that again, and I think now they understand that it takes some hard work and it takes some discipline. But now I think they're getting a little more confident. We got a stretch of games coming that are going to be tough. Edwards County's playing better. Then we have Fairfield at home, which is good. Then our CIT, we just get back into the conference then. So liking what we're doing right now, but we have to continue to get better.
You mentioned Edwards County next Tuesday. What do we know about them?
They're good. They got Grimes, the Rhodes. I feel like a Rhodes kid has been at Edwards County for as long as I can remember. And he's a good player. They got the two sophomores, Duncan and Cash Connor. Little point guard is pretty good. They're not bad. They played well at the EHT. So we're gonna have to bring in our best effort. And we always go up there. I think last year we went by 10 up there or something. Yeah. It wasn't. It's just these road games midweek are hard. And kids, whenever we're at home and our dog pound and our fans are going crazy, it's easy to get juiced up, like I say. But when you have a bus ride and you're on the road and their fans are going, and sometimes it takes our team a little bit of time to get going. And we work on that. We talk a lot about that. But that's just the nature of the beast. So we're gonna have to be ready to go.
All right, Coach, how about those Michigan Wolverines?
How about that game? And the Rose Bowl is just so special. The mountains, the grass, it's just taking down Alabama. This team has really played well, and excited to watch them get on Monday.
All right, Coach, congrats on the win.
Thanks.
That's Kevin Wolf Wednesday night after Carmike took down Evansville Day School by a final score of 60-43. Travis, I brought up a point to Coach there during the interview. It appears to me, it seems like before the EHT, and even you can count that Norris City game, that Carmike was winning these games, but they weren't winning them very very convincingly. They were winning games by 15, 20 points, but Kevin Wolf was just like, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. I think ever since that Anna Jonesboro game, the Heron game, the Harrisburg game, and then last Wednesday, we're starting to see this team play consistently good basketball, and it couldn't come at a better time.
Yeah, and they were beating teams, 15, 20 points, beating them handily, but it wasn't very convincing to the level of talent and the expectation that this Carmi team has for themselves. I mean, barring the Flora game and then the Chester and Heron game at DuQuoin, the first part of the season, really till that AJ game, was you see stretches of really good basketball, a quarter, a half, maybe even 3 quarters, but they never put together a full game, and it wasn't until that AJ game that they put together that full game, and they've been on a tear ever since. And if they can continue doing and playing this level of basketball, sharing the basketball, playing this hard on defense, they're going to be a tough out come postseason time.
Well, and looking at Carmi's schedule kind of the rest of the way out, there are some interesting matchups. They're supposed to play El Dorado last night. That game's moved to January 27th. And they got 2 games next week, Edwards County and Fairfield. Then you jump into the CIT. And I think we talked about last year's CIT being competitive. I think this year's CIT might be one of the more competitive and I would say strong tournaments that we've had in a while. You've got Fairfield, who's playing way above expectations, a great Harrisburg team with, of course, Cameron Andy, a great Mount Vernon team that didn't lose hardly anybody from last year. They give Carmi some fits. And you got Carmi and Evansville Day, who's going to give everybody a fight. So we'll have our CIT preview next Saturday. But, Travis, looking at what Carmi's got the rest of the way, including those CIT teams, they still got to play Fairfield twice. You're going to travel to Mount Carmel. You still got to play Hamilton County twice. You got to play Grayville, and Grayville's no pushover this year. And then at the end of the season, you've got Lawrenceville. So, at 3 losses right now, we're broadcasters, so we can look ahead on the schedule. But, I think Carmi is going to put themselves in a great spot to be a top 3 seed in their sectional come February.
Yeah, and this schedule coming up, it's a gauntlet. I mean, there's some teams that are down, but any type of conference battle, it's always going to be close, no matter what the talent difference is. Grayville's no pushover. Lawrenceville was ranked top 15 in 2A. So Carmi's got their work cut out for them in terms of the schedule, especially with the CIT coming up. And this is that time of the year where basketball season's a marathon. It starts in late October and goes all the way into, hopefully, early March, mid-March, but at least late or end of February. So you got 4 months right there, 4.5 months. But this is the time of the year. Once the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, once Christmas time gets over, it becomes a sprint because it's a game Tuesday, then Friday, and then you have a tournament, midwinter tournament. Goes, 4 or 5 straight days of games. Then you kind of look over, might have 3 games in a week, maybe a Saturday game here or there, not to mention where they play Mount Carmel as well. So it's just a lot in a short period of time, and the practices start to get shorter because you're playing more, you're expending more energy at games, so there's going to be less practice time. So this is about the time of the year you want your team to start clicking, and that's what Carmi's doing, and so they're going to put themselves in a good position.
So Carmi placed in the Benton sectional. These sites came out right before the EHT. We don't know who's going to be in Carmi's regional. We don't know where Carmi's regional is going to be. We do know it will be at either Massac County or West Frankfort. Looking at those other teams in this subsectional, you got Anna Jonesboro, Benton, of course Carmi, Carterville, El Dorado, Harrisburg, Johnston City, Hamilton County, Massac County, Murfreesboro, Vienna, and West Frankfort. I mean, 2A is just good. I mean, look at the other subsectional. This is the Shelbyville sectional. Their 2 regional sites will be Newton or Vandalia. You got Fairfield, Flora, OPH, Lawrenceville, Marshall, Mount Carmel, Newton, Paris, Robinson, T-Town, Toledo, and Vandalia. So, people talk about winning regionals, winning sectionals. It is very tough to do that in 2A. We talked last year how Carmi was in a stacked regional and a stacked sectional. However, if this Carmi team that is playing right now, that played at the end of last week, is the same team we're going to see come regional time, I like our chances.
Yeah, it's going to. If they can continue the level of play they're playing at right now, it's going to. They're going to be a tough out for any team in the regional, and nobody's going to want to face them.
Looking at other scores from last night in high school boys basketball, a couple of area teams, or a lot of area teams in action with Carmi having the night off. By the way, Travis, what'd you do on your Friday night off?
Oh, I had 7th and 8th grade basketball practice from 3:30 to 5, and then went straight home and took me a good old nap.
What time did you wake up from the snap?
10:30. Actually, it was 8:30.
Well, everybody was asking me, what are you going to do with your night off? And I didn't do anything. Me and the wife, we were at DiMaggio's. We watched a movie, and then we took it easy. It was we don't get many Friday nights off during basketball season, but we made sure to enjoy and relax. We did watch the end of the Illinois game, and they almost came back and beat Purdue. But other area scores last night: Anna Jonesboro defeated DuQuoin 59-54. Carlisle over Oakville 61-39. Casey Westfield over Paris 59-36. Flora over Edwards County 51-36. Galatia over Agape 72-44. Gallatin County defeats Carrier Mills 60-37. Benton fell to George Rogers Clark, Kentucky 69-53. Goreville over Trico 64-27. Hardin County over Thompsonville 75-41. Heron defeats West Frankfort 55-29. Lawrenceville over Fairfield at 51-29. Marion over Cahokia 64-34. Massac over Carterville 56-48. Mount Carmel defeats Robinson 65-51. Mount Vernon, Illinois over Carbondale 49-33. Murfreesboro over Harrisburg at 54-46. Nashville over Pinckneyville 47-40. How about a big win for NCOE? 78-72 over Crab Orchard. So congrats to the Fighting Cardinals there. Albany over Marshall, 63-43. Vienna over Ziegler Royalton, 83-31. Wayne City over Patoka, 54-39. And Woodlawn defeats Sandoval, 79-61. There's your high school basketball scores from last night. We'll go ahead and take our first break of the morning. When we come back, we will recap what the CWC girls basketball team did this week. They are on fire. It's a Saturday morning sports show on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY, and AM 1460. Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY, and AM 1460. Cole Carter alongside Travis Black. Haley Winkleman across the hallway getting us on the air. Hope you're enjoying this first Saturday of 2024. I have said 2023 all week. I'm still getting used to the 2024 side of things. All right, we're going to shift our attention over to the CWC girls basketball team. And, man, what a season they're having. 16-3 on the year. 2 big wins this week. They defeated Harrisburg back on Wednesday, 54-44, and a big win back on Thursday over Edwards County, 52-42. That's 2 tough games to have back-to-back. I traveled to Edwards County to watch that one as we were in Evansville when they played Harrisburg at home. But, you know, Travis, we saw this team last year. They were a young team, only won 10 games. But as the year went on, we saw them, slowly improve. And we knew this season, what was coming with was the girls that were coming back. This team was going to be a crew to be reckoned with, and that's been the case this year.
Yeah, that's all that experience from last year. They took their lumps last year. They were young, but they were talented. You could just see it. And now this year, all those losses from last year, all those close losses, all those crunch time minutes that those freshmen, those sophomores, those juniors have gotten is really culminated into this season, and they are playing some of the best basketball you will see in Southern Illinois this year.
That win over Harrisburg on Wednesday, the first time they have beaten Harrisburg, I'm going to let you guess a year, Travis.
2010.
Yeah, so you saw that. You knew already.
No, we talked about it at the last Harrisburg game.
Well, first time in 14 years they've beaten Harrisburg, and they've had a dynasty going on there for a long time. Carmi almost beat them at the preseason tournament. They have 3 losses. 2 of those losses are to Mount Carmel, a team they could see later on in the year. But, they're so athletic. And you talk about this team that you've got a lot of the same girls that were playing on the volleyball team this past fall. Johanna Smith, another one, she went to state in tennis. And, this young core, this sophomore core, this junior year core, we kind of knew this class would be special. We saw how special they were during volleyball season. But, Travis, these girls are just competitors. They love to win.
Yeah, they love to compete. They love to They love to be in competition, and it shows every time they step on the court how they play defense. I mean, it's incredible at what type of defensive intensity they're playing with. I mean, they are holding teams under their average points per game as a team, and especially Mara Serafini's holding the opposing team's best player to under their scoring average. So it's incredible they can do that night after night without really getting much of a break between volleyball and basketball, and those couple, and Johanna with tennis, like not really much of a break because she went to state. So it's just incredible to see that without even like a week off.
And not to mention last week at the Mary Mule tournament, they finished in third place. So just been a great season for them. And Clinton Wolf joined me after Thursday's game. Here's what he had to say when Carmi defeated Edwards County 52-42. Coach, a gutsy win, an outstanding fourth quarter to pull off that win.
That was a fantastic effort. We talked about it at halftime, how, we're sitting here coming off a battle last night against Harrisburg that took every bit of effort that we had. And then having to come back and do it again tonight was tough against a really good basketball team. I mean, Edwards County is legit. And, at halftime, I'm looking at our girls, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, they're gassed. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. And what an effort.
Well, and back-to-back nights. I mean, you got to talk to Coach Simon. Back-to-back games. You got to switch that schedule around. But playing two teams that full court press you all night long, and like you said, I can imagine back-to-back nights. Those girls were tired, but they fought through it.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-backs when you're playing half-court offense and methodically working the ball around, it's not too bad. But when you run two track meets back-to-back, that's tough. And just really, really proud of how well our girls took care of the basketball. And I know we have turnovers. They did too. I mean, it was sloppy. You're not going to see perfect games with no turnovers at the girls' level when you got as athletic. When you have 10 girls on the floor like these two teams do, I mean, the balls are going to get tipped, balls are going to get stolen. That's part of it. You just got to limit those. And I felt like we did a pretty good job of that.
I mean, she scored 18 points, but I thought, as far as in the post, you guys did a good job of controlling Grace Bishop, especially in the second half. That is their offense. Mm-hmm. They want to run through her. But I thought she didn't make that much of an impact tonight. You guys did a good job against her.
No, we were getting a little nervous at halftime. Coach Simmons and I talked before we went down how we may need to switch it up and let Ashlyn guard her just because Ashlyn's, got a little more size and a little stronger to beat and bang with her. I don't know how many she had in the first half. You probably don't have that broke down, but I feel like she probably had 12 in the first half. She only ended up with 18, and I know one or two of those came from the free throw line. And, what Mara does defensively, and I talked to her today. I know, she struggled getting the ball in a hole last night. Went 0 from the field, which is unlike her. That doesn't happen very often. And she was excited for the team. But when you play a sport, it's a team sport. She's a team player. But then there's little individual goals and things that you want, and everybody has that. You should. You're a competitor. That's what you want to do. And she was a little frustrated with herself. But I said, you held Green to 9 points. She's averaging like 17 a game. I mean, what Mara does defensively, I think sometimes goes unnoticed, and she's a tremendous defensive player.
Well, she bounced back offensively tonight, 24 points for her. Caroline also had 22, but I thought a lot of those shots were created with how you guys did once you got into the half court against that full court trap. You had some 3-on-2s at some points, and they just shot the ball really well from outside.
We did, and Caroline and Addie and Joe did a great job of breaking the press down and getting it down the floor and being able to kick the ball to those two. And, Addie probably didn't get up as many. Joe had a couple of nice drives that just didn't go down for her. At one time she got a drive down here in the paint, missed her shot, but dang it, she went and got a rebound. And next thing I know, boom, we got another shot. And, we're just playing great, great team basketball right now on both sides of the floor, offensively and defensively.
Now 5-0 in the conference. I know it was your first time seeing this team. You're going to see them one more time before the season's over. Really kind of halfway through your conference schedule of things. What's your outlook so far?
Coming into this year, I thought that Fairfield and Edwards County were top teams. I knew we would be right there, but not talking about us, just talking about the other five. El Dorado's in a rebuild mode right now. Florida's kind of in a rebuild mode. Hamco, of course, had a couple of girls that didn't play, so I knew, they weren't going to be what they – Coach Weinmiller thought he was going to be a little different squad than what he has. And, when all of a sudden we started the conference play back there at the end of November and you beat Hamco and then you go down to El Dorado and get a win, and then you get a 3-point win against Fairfield at home, and then you go up to Flora, and we didn't play great up there, but we came out with a win. And you're sitting there thinking, my goodness, we're undefeated in the we would have never guessed that at this point. And then, this game was circled. As soon as that happened, we still had other games in the Mary Mule to play. But in my mind as a coach, as the conference schedule goes, this game was circled as soon as we were 4-0. And, this is an opportunity here to put yourself in the driver's seat. And, sorry to interrupt.
You go ahead, finish.
But as soon as I circled the game, I looked back at the calendar and I was like, oh, get to play Harrisburg right before that. That's a great job, and Jake and I didn't want to play Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And I called him and said, I really don't want to play the day after New Year's Day. Our kids aren't even back in school till the 3rd. He said, I'm the same. I said, I got a conference game Thursday night. He said, I do too. So we're both in the same boat. We both agreed to play. But as soon as I circled, I was like, son of a gun, what did you do that for? But anyway, it worked out well.
Well, you've got a couple of days off this weekend, but enjoy them while you got them, because the next 2 weeks are kind of a gauntlet, starting off Monday at home against Weber. Another having a down year, kind of only one win so far. What do you know about them?
I know they only got, I think, 8 or 9 girls, so there won't be a JV game. Just be a varsity-only tip at 6 o'clock. They're in rebuild mode. They're cross-country track coaches coaching the girls. I've got to know him over the years through track, obviously, and he does a great job. He's a great coach. And he'll have them ready to play. I think they're in rebuild mode. They're really, really young. And then, of course, you get El Dorado coming to our place. And as long as you can slow down Hendricks and just, keep Dunn and Colorado off the boards, we should be okay. And then we roll into the El Dorado tournament on Saturday and Monday. And both of those will be morning games on a weekend, 3-day weekend. That's the last place these girls want to be on a 3-day weekend. So play an extremely tough Vienna game to open that up. So, we got a busy week next week.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach. Congrats on 2 big wins this week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for the coverage, as always.
That was Clinton Wolf after the Lady Bulldogs took down Edwards County on Thursday evening, a 54-44. That's not right. 52-42. Lady Bulldogs are now 16-3 on the year. They have sole possession of first place in the Black Diamond Conference East with a 5-0 record. 3 games for them coming up this week. They've got Weber on Monday, El Dorado on Thursday, then they'll begin the Lady Eagle Classic on Saturday as they take on Vienna. Switching gears over to the Bulldog wrestling team, who improved their record to 11-5 on the year. They took down OPH on Thursday night. That was at home. Caleb Siebers got a win that night. Nelson Ryder got a win. Connor Buchanan received a forfeit. Layden Vargas got a win. Connor Benham with a forfeit as well. And Cale Wiggins, Jazz Duckworth, and Joey Schaefer all got wins for the Bulldogs that night. They got the win over OPH 47-34. Well, looking ahead at the schedule for the rest of the week for CWC Athletics on Monday, mentioned the girls will be at home against Weber. The junior high boys, they will host NCOE. That is their last home game of the year, correct, Travis?
We have Olney in 2 weeks.
Okay, so
second to last
just forget what I'm saying. So the girls are at home on Monday. Junior high boys are at home against Norris City. On Tuesday, the CWC boys will travel to Edwards County. On Wednesday, the junior high boys are at Albion, and the wrestling team travels to Tecumseh. On Thursday, the junior high boys, is that their regional at Mount Carmel? That's what EventLink says, so I'm going to guess that's not correct on Thursday.
It does not start next.
That's been changed. Okay,
Yes.
maybe I was looking at the wrong thing.
Girls.
That's probably what it is. Girls regional, because they end quicker. Okay, so junior high girls regional is at Mount Carmel starting on Thursday. High school girls, they host El Dorado on Thursday, and the wrestling team travels to Heron on Thursday. Then on Friday, the CWC boys will host Fairfield. Then next Saturday, the CWC girls will play Vienna at the Lady Eagle Classic, and the Bulldog wrestling team will host their annual tournament a week from today, next Saturday. We will not have a show next Saturday, as we are going to be covering that girls' game in El Dorado, their first round matchup of the Lady Eagle Classic. I wanted to get some of their games in that tournament in there. That's the one that's going to fit into our schedule because, of course, the week after is CIT week, which is a crazy week. Not as crazy as EHT week, but it's crazy that here we are already. CIT week is a week away for us.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird how that works. It's a 2-week break, but you don't really think it's that. I mean, it feels like it flies by. I mean, it's 2 to 3 weeks separation between the EHT and the CIT, and we're there.
And that is pretty much all the games coming up next week for all the winter sports teams. last week was such a great week for all three of them. You mentioned both the basketball teams finishing third in their tournaments, and then the wrestling team, they went 4-0 at the Carterville tournament that week as well. But Travis, just kind of a really exciting time right now for CWC Winter Sports. Boys having a great season, girls having a great season. Wrestling team, we talked about their numbers, having a lot of kids out, and they're having a great season as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of building off of that fall season with the volleyball, taking home fourth in state, and football making the playoffs, and all the different sports that are going on. It's just kind of like they're feeding off of each other, and you'll see a lot of the same kids on each team, and it's just good to see that Carmi and Bulldog Athletics is succeeding the way they are.
We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll have our national sports segment here on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY, AM 1460. Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY, and AM 1460. Cole Carter, Travis Black, Haley Winkman across the hallway getting us on the air as we now turn to our national sports segment of the show. Busy week in national sports, college sports, final NFL weekend, National College Football National Championship on Monday. A lot to go over here in the final 10 or so minutes of the show. Travis, you weren't wrong during our first show when you said that you had a terrible week in the terrible 10, but you have come all the way back because we have to go back almost a month since we had our last terrible 10 pick. I'm back on the 16th of December, but you went 7-3, I went 6-4. So now overall, I'm 24-16. You are 25-15. So enjoy first place while you got it, because
I don't plan on relinquishing it.
All right, so we've got 4 college basketball games, the 1 college football game, and 5 NFL games going on tomorrow. All right, Travis, first one, number 8 UNC at number 16 Clemson. Who do you got here?
Ooh, as much as this pains me to say it, I'm going to have to go with UNC.
I was wondering if you were going to pick UNC at all this season.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
I will go with UNC as well. I saw them play earlier this week against Pitt. They look pretty good. Speaking of Pitt, they traveled to Louisville, a couple of unranked teams. I will go with the Panthers here on the road.
Give me Louisville.
Okay. Let's see, local game today going on. Murray State travels to Evansville to play the Aces. I heard that game is almost sold out there at the Ford Center in Evansville. Who you got here, Travis?
Oh, as much as I would like to go with the Murray State Racers, I'm going to go with the Purple Aces.
I'm going with Purple Aces. They've had a good year. Evansville's had a good year so far. A couple of close losses to some big schools.
I think that's one of the ones I lost last week, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah. You picked Bellarmine, and they beat Bellarmine. But, Murray's kind of in a bit of a rebuild stage right now, but Evansville's had a great season so far.
You can't lose your coach and then expect to be the same.
Number 22, Ole Miss, they traveled to Tennessee. Number 5, the Volunteers. I'm going to go with the Volunteers at home.
Give me Tennessee as well.
SEC battle there. All right, the National Football Championship on Monday night. Number 2, Washington against number 1, Michigan. Who do you got, Travis?
Oh, as much as I think Michigan is the better team, but I think Washington has the better quarterback. So that's the...
You know what I mean? I would agree. I think anybody would agree with that.
I think Michael Penix is a future Viking, hopefully, but
he looks good in purple.
He does look good in purple.
Former Indiana Hoosier as well.
I'm gonna keep Coach Wolf happy with me. I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Okay, I was getting ready to say if you pick Washington, I was getting ready to get a text from him, but I'm gonna go with Michigan as well. I watched that semifinal against Alabama. What 2 great games in the semifinal last Monday with Michigan and Alabama, and then Washington and Texas. Both games went down to the final play of the game. But Michigan, I'm going to go with the Wolverines as well to defeat Washington and hopefully win the national championship Monday night. So best of luck to Coach Wolf. Hope he doesn't stress out too much over that one. On to the NFL games. One of these is this afternoon, and the other 4 are tomorrow. First one, the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. This game isn't necessarily win loser doesn't make the playoffs, winner does. There's a lot that has to happen, but the winner of this could win the AFC South if Jacksonville loses tomorrow. So the Texans at the Colts. I'm going to go with Indianapolis at home.
Oh, gosh.
I do think C.J. Stroud is playing, if it makes you feel any better.
Well, that would have earlier in the year, but he's kind of been struggling. Gardner Minshew's been playing well, but I'm going to go with the Texans just to be different, and I like C.J. Stroud.
Okay, that's fair. The Browns at the Bengals. This game, basically no meaning to it. Some of these games don't have any meaning because a lot of these teams are already out of the playoffs. Some teams have playoff spots locked up, like the Browns. They have the 5 seed locked up in the AFC. They're playing now their third-string quarterback. I'm going to go with the Bengals at home. Browns are sitting a lot of their starters, so I will go with Cincinnati here.
Oh, this is a tough one.
Is it though?
Is it
7
really?
points is the spread.
7 points is the spread. I just like how the Browns have been playing this year, even though I know they're setting some starters. I think they're going to pull it out.
You think Cleveland's going to pull it out?
I think Cleveland's going to pull it out. I think they're going to get to 12-5.
Okay. So again, the Browns are already in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They are the 5 seed. Bengals are eliminated. So Travis got the Browns trying to end the year with another regular season win. All right, I've got the Chicago Bears. They are traveling to Green Bay. If the Packers win, they are in. Bears trying to play spoiler. I'm going to go with the Pack at home.
I'm going to go with the Packers as well because the Bears really have no true reason to win this game other than for a better record but a worse, draft pick.
Packers are playing well.
Yeah, Packers are playing well. Jordan Love's playing well, and the Bears have really no reason to want to win this game anyway. They're not making the playoffs one way or another. So
Packers had a tough 3-game skid a couple of weeks ago, but they played better last week against Minnesota. I think they're going to win this one. All right, these last 2 games that we've got picked, very meaningful for me and my Pittsburgh Steelers. First one, Jacksonville at Tennessee. I don't know if the Titans are going to win, but I sure want them to win. Tighten up. I'm going Tennessee here.
I'm going to go with Tennessee as well because the Jaguars have been kind of on a downward slide.
And Trevor Lawrence is questionable.
They started 8-3, and then now they're on the bubble of making the playoffs or not. So.
And the big one tomorrow night, Bills at the Dolphins. Travis, who do you got?
Give me the Bills.
You're going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they're on that long winning streak. They have to they have to win the game to be able to make the playoffs. So unless some other things fall their way, but
here's who I've got tomorrow night. You ever heard the Dolphins fight song?
Now I have.
A lot of NFL teams have fight songs, but you don't really know them unless you're a fan of the team. I'm going with Miami. I need the Dolphins to win this game for the Steelers to get in. And yes, I'm letting my feelings lead towards my picks for this week. Probably a bad idea, but I would love to see my Steelers make the playoffs. They got to win today, of course. They play today at 3:30, but need the Titans and Dolphins to come through tomorrow. So there's always hope. When you're a Steeler fan like me, there's
you're never going to go below 500. You're going to either go right at it or just above it, and you always have a chance.
Now the Vikings, they still have a shot, correct?
They do.
So the Packers to lose.
8-8.
So they're 7-9 right now. The Vikings are 7-9. So they would need the Packers to lose, and is it the Falcons to win and Bucks to lose? Something like that.
Yeah.
There's so many scenarios for all these teams.
I'm looking at Michael Penix. I'm watching that Monday night game for my future quarterback. I'm not holding out hope for.
You don't care about the playoffs. You just want Michael Penix.
I want a quarterback.
That's fair. I won't disagree with you there. All right, well, that's going to about wrap things up for us this morning. Again, no show next Saturday. We'll be in El Dorado for a 10 o'clock game as the Lady Bulldogs take on Vienna there at the Lady Eagle Classic. Reminder of our broadcast schedule for this coming week. Monday, we've got the girls at home against Weber. Tuesday, we'll travel to Albion as the boys take on Edwards County. Then on Thursday, the girls are at home against El Dorado. Boys are at home on Friday against Fairfield. And again, the girls will be in El Dorado Saturday morning. So, and these next 2 weeks for you and me, Travis, we got to make sure the cough drops are ready. Voices are good. We got, I think, 11 games in the next 14 days, something along those lines.
Yeah, something.
These couple
crazy
weeks
like
in
that.
January, it's some long weeks for sure. But a lot of good basketball. I'm excited for the CIT. I think it's going to be another exciting tournament. Last year, I think almost every game was 5 points or less, something along those lines. I think this year's going to be the same. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's always a privilege to be able to do this, especially for this 2-week stretch between the CIT and then all the conference games. Conference schedule starts rolling, more competitive, intense basketball games, and Southern Illinois brand of Black Diamond Conference basketball. First to 40 wins and knockdown, drag out, very physical basketball.
Low-scoring
games.
defensive battle.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us this morning. Big thanks to Haley Winkleman across the hallway. And for Travis Black, I'm Cole Carter. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY and AM 1460, and online worldwide at WRUL.com.